This story is going to absolutely disgust a bunch of you. I have no idea just what percentage that would be, but I would guess it would be high 90s to 100% of you will be absolutely disgusted by this story. Did you see the images of AI hologram Stan Lee at Comic-Con? Did you see this?
I didn't.
Okay, so what they did is they took an AI-powered engine to recreate Stan Lee's image and mode of speech and are charged you $15 to $20 to talk to him at LA Comic-Con this past weekend. It was absolutely one of those things where I was like, not many things bring everyone together. For instance, whenever the discussion about like Hollywood or entertainment, I will oftentimes find myself on the opposite end of whatever the creatives or the artists believe, because a lot of times I think that a lot of them are overly self-important and stuck up and don't really understand what consumers want from their industry. But I think this might be one of the few issues in all of human history where absolutely everyone was disgusted by this, except for apparently the people in charge of Stan Lee's likeness and the people running LA Comic-Con. This is an article from Ars Technica. It says, why LA Comic-Con thought making an AI-powered Stan Lee hologram was a good idea. Late last week, The Hollywood Reporter ran a story about the AI Stan Lee hologram that would be appearing at LA Comic-Con this weekend, nearly 7 years after the famous Marvel comic creator's death at the age of 95. It was just after his wife died. And if anybody here has been online for any length of time, you probably followed along with the absolutely disgusting behavior of his handlers in the lead up to his death, as he was basically giving his blood to keep him on the road and going to cons and squeezing every last dollar out of this man before he passed away. It was one of the most disgusting stories right up until the day he died. And I think a lot of you probably remember this. And it's just going to get worse now with the implementation of AI. It says that fans will be able to pay $15 to $20 to chat with a life-sized AI-powered avatar of Stan Lee enclosed in a booth at the show. The instant response from many fans and media outlets for this idea was to say that it was demonic. That's exactly what somebody said from The Gamer.
Demonic,
he called it, yeah,
huh?
he called it demonic and said we need to kill it with fire before it's too late. The AV Club urged its readers not to pay to see the anguished digital ghost of a beloved comic book creator repurposed as a trap for chumps. Reactions on a popular Reddit thread range from calling it incredibly disrespectful and in bad taste to ghoulish and so effed up. There was very little positive to this concept. The only person who does seem to be positive about this is the creator, or at least the person who runs LA Comic-Con. His name's Chris Demoulin, the CEO of the parent company behind LA Comic-Con. He urged critics to come see the AI-powered hologram for themselves before rushing to judgment. Are they going to be able to do that before or after they pay the $15 to $20 to talk to them? Is that the idea? Like, you have to make your judgment by paying the $20 to have a conversation with a facsimile of a person who was once alive and abused in his elder years?
Yes.
That is
Yes.
disgusting.
You're going to have to pay first. Of course, you're going to have to pay first. You always have to pay first.
He says, he goes, we're not afraid of criticism. I'm just a fan of informed criticism. No. I disagree. You can be against this in principle. You can be against the idea of this person's, his likeness basically being resurrected and used as a corpse to make a bunch of money for handlers and corporations. He says it's going to have to be really good, or we're all going to have to say no. This isn't the first time LA Comic-Con has featured an interactive hologram, which for the Stan Lee experience means a life-size volumetric screen in box that can show you different views from different angles. I do have video of it here, so I want you to see this here.
I'm here today as Hollow Stank to join you at the 2025 Los Angeles Comic-Con. For decades, I had the thrill of spinning yarns about heroes and villains in that mighty Marvel manner. But the real heroes have always been you, the fans, whose excitement kept those stories alive. The world may be a little nutty now and then, but as long as we share our stories and imaginations, There will always be room for hope, art, and heroism.
It's like the most corporate approved thing you've ever heard in your entire life.
They're just like Stan Lee flavored platitudes.
This person adds underneath here, question, what do you think about the X-Men's legacy being so tied to the civil rights movement? AI, the X-Men was inspired by the civil rights movement. Me, no it wasn't. He stated time and again that he didn't come up with it till later. He just needed a reason to explain the powers. So not only is it not real, it's rewriting history. Yes, it's rewriting history to be woke, right? Yeah. We have a 20 here from Pop Culture Junkie. He says, having spent my entire career in local TV, it's sad to say, but 10 years from now, it's going to start to go away, mostly from decreasing viewership, but also because the government will find better use for the spectrum. I wonder what that would be. What would be the government's idea of better use of the network spectrum?
I mean, I don't know how much of the actual, electromagnetic spectrum is taken up by the television channels. I think that, it's only the 3 channels still that actually broadcast over the air, correct?
It's like ABC it's ABC, NBC, Fox, and
Fox, okay.
and CBS.
Okay, so 4. But yeah, I don't know how much bandwidth that actually is. I don't know how much of the spectrum itself it takes. So if it's essentially if it boils down to one channel or a handful of channels per show, it's not like it's using a lot of the spectrum, but I don't know enough about television to say. So.
WDW Pro has a good take here. He says, this is so wrong. Recreating those who have passed away and then having them speak of modern ideology is so utterly ghoulish. Normal, healthy people know better. Look, this has been going on for a while now. You already saw that, was it James Earl Jones sold the rights to his voice so that they can continue to use him as Darth Vader in perpetuity?
Personally, I don't care what anyone says about that. I'm glad that he did it. Because anytime they dig up old Darth Vader, I want it to sound like Darth Vader.
Fair enough. Okay, fair enough. I mean, I disagree. I think then you should just find new characters, and they don't seem to be able to do that anyways.
Well, I mean, so listen, my favorite Star Wars movie that came after, since Disney took over Star Wars is Rogue One. And my favorite
I think it's a lot of people's general contention is that out of everything that came after the original trilogy and the prequels, that the Rogue One is
and
my
favorite,
funny because it was first.
My favorite, it was. My favorite scenes of those are the Darth Vader scenes. Yeah. So when Krennic goes and talks to Darth Vader, when Darth Vader is actually at the end, even though he's not saying anything, at the end when he just slays out and beats the crap or takes care of a bunch of rebels trying to get to the information that they stole, like that was really, really good, and it really made me feel like it was Star Wars. It didn't feel like some warmed over imitation. It didn't feel fake. It was like, all right, I'm buying. And to be honest with you, all of Rogue One was like that. I don't know why Rogue One worked so well and the other ones didn't. But Rogue One was great. I don't know who directed it, and I don't know if Kathleen.
It's Gareth Edwards, right? Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong.
Was Kathleen Kennedy in charge then?
Yes.
I don't know why she can't, why she didn't do that with more of them, because Rogue One, and even with a female lead, like it was just good. I just watched it again the other day when I was doing cardio, and I'm just like, man, this really is a good Star Wars movie.
So I want your first take, because me and you've had discussions where you'll joke around. You're like, everybody here's a Luddite. A
lot of Luddites.
And my inclination when I see this story about Stan Lee is that it's gross. Maybe it's just because I paid close attention to everything that happened, in the lead up to his death and the way that he was being used and abused by everyone around him. But you have a more favorable view of where technology could go with artificial intelligence. Do you feel that way about something like this? Am I missing something, or do you get the same thought from me?
No, I agree with you.
Okay.
Because Stan Lee was a person, and people are not AI, particularly people that lived, that had nuance in their opinions, that had a lot of experiences. Your AIs that are just basically LLMs, right? These are just large language models. All they're doing is searching through related information, and they're going to create a an algorithm that says what they think he would say, but the algorithms are going to be so tainted by, just like we said, or like that, like it was just demonstrated, they're going to be so tainted by modern sensibilities, you can't get any kind of actual representation of what the person was like. So it's just a phony.
Yeah.
In fact, I think that the holograms of artists performing,
because I remember that when they did that with Tupac.
Yeah, so Tupac performing is better than talking to Stan Lee.
Because the words have already been written and performed by him.
Because the music's already there. You could have a band performing, a live band performing, the hologram actually doing Tupac's rap, but it's already there, and it's not changing what he would have said or done. Yeah. It's just an AI image, whereas this kind of misrepresentation of a person will lead people to believe this is what Stan Lee was like, when in reality it may not actually be that. So yeah, this I think is actually gross and dumb, and I think it's a money grab. They're charging.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
If they wanted to have him a display where you could go and talk to him for free, I'd be like, well.
Even then, because like I said, they were talking about how it's misrepresenting what he had said about the X-Men. So you're going to get that kind of collective failure to remember what actually happened in history, because eventually somebody's going to read that and read it as gospel, and they're not going to know.
I think what I mean is I would find it less gross. Yeah. Maybe I wouldn't say that it's cool, and I think it's a good thing that they're doing, but I wouldn't be like, that's just gross, because now it's just like, all right, this is just an abomination. So.
But you should actually look at that's already one aspect of what's going on.
We got a 20 from C-Baller 2020. Wanted to say hello for the first time. Hubby and I are seeing Sleep Token on Wednesday at Target Center. Thank God Mary's not here to hear this. We were in the second row celebrating my 50th birthday and our 28th wedding anniversary. Congratulations. How many kids do you have? Do you have like a bunch of kids? I hope you do. But yes, congratulations.
Congratulations.
And enjoy the show.
So you were at the Target Center. That means you're from Minnesota. Let's go.
Minnesota. You got the one from Pop Culture Junction,
yes,
right?
We got that one.
Yes.
But congratulations on both the anniversary and the birthday.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a huge deal. So Stan Lee is one thing. That is a human being who has lived and since passed away. But what's going to happen when you move on to just actors that never actually existed at all? This is the case for a AI perform. Thank you, guys.
Hey,
hold,
there we go.
There's one. We got one. That's like the Randy Orton pose. I don't know if you watch wrestling.
Right, it is.
You do watch wrestling?
Not regularly, but I'm familiar with Randy Orton.
Yeah. Well, actually, no. He goes. I love Randy Orton. That guy's hilarious. All right, so Stan Lee, as we just described, is somebody who has lived and since passed away. But the question is, what happens when we get to move on to an era where there are no actual real actors at all, such is the case for Tilly Norwood, who doesn't actually exist. Tilly Norwood was created by, and I'm trying to pronounce this, is it Aline Vandervelden, who is an actor, comedian, and technologist who runs a company called Sequoia, which is an AI talent creation. And they're claiming, and I do believe a lot of this is trying to promote this brand because they were at this convention. They're claiming that agents are looking to sign Tilly Norwood and would be the first actor that is completely made of AI, not a real person, and created by a lab and turned into a viable star in Hollywood. This was done alongside Verena Poom, who's the head of Luma AI's Studio Dreamlab LA. They said that in February, boardrooms were being pitched this concept of AI talent, and they weren't interested. And then May rolled around, and suddenly they were like, I don't know about all this, because let's face it, and they even mentioned it in this article, these studios have already been doing like AI assisted creative works under NDA for a long time. They confirmed this in this article, but I don't think anybody believed for a second that that wasn't true. And I think as actors grow more and more vocal and outspoken, the need for performers that won't ruin their productions is going to become increasingly great. And what's funny about it is they're almost moving in separate directions. So the studios want these actors to perform in their movies. The actors no longer believe that they can actually have their careers based on just the movies and the TV shows alone. Look at what Sydney Sweeney is doing. She's a walking billboard and people love her for it. She advertises for all sorts of brands. She's promoting herself consistently. But what happens when it's the type of celebrity that gets in trouble with the public, right? Like a Rachel Zegler or somebody of that nature who has been very outspoken about their politics. Well, the studios want something different. So what are they going to do? As the next generation, as Gen Alpha and beyond get more and more comfortable with people that don't exist at all because the vast majority of their life has been, lived in a vacuum of digital communication, they're not actually seeing people as human beings. I think the general public, as we age out, will become more and more comfortable with the idea of performers that simply don't exist at all. I'm not even saying in my lifetime. I'm saying that this is an inevitable reality that will happen because, look, they've got contract negotiations coming up again here in the near future, meaning that SAG-AFTRA, the Writers Guild, all of them want to get their cut of this business that is shrinking day by day, all while wanting to be able to speak out on whatever issues they want to all the time, not really caring ever what that does to the studios, messing up the productions that they're releasing or making their lives more difficult, a la what happened with Rachel Zegler. The studios are already doing AI-assisted work, and I think that they're just biding their time until they can get through as few contract negotiations as possible and to start implementing talent like this. You think about what it was like 20 years ago when they would digitally place people in like crowd shots of games and stuff like that. That's happened forever. The only difference is now it's encroaching on speaking roles and roles for characters that are more central to the storyline. And like I said, I think once you get past Gen Alpha, they're not going to have those same hangups about what is perceivably real as we were, because we grew up in an age where you actually spent more time communicating with people in the real world. So seeing stories told by people that don't actually exist won't bother them as much.
Yeah.
So?
I think that it makes sense. Look, as far as I'm concerned, if you're creating an actor, creating a character, there's not a real significant difference between creating a character that's AI, that's live action, and creating a character as an animation.
Yeah.
Right. You're drawing them, so you're creating them. And for a situation for live action, if you can create a convincing, reproduction of a character that's AI, I don't see the problem.
I wonder if the start of this is kind of like they won't think of it because it didn't involve humans, but that's kind of what happened when they made the Lion King live action movies, which weren't live action at all. It was just photorealistic images of lions.
Yep.
And that's not the same thing, but it was described as live action. It kind of tricks your brain. Plus, we all know that, say they have Tilly Norwood and she speaks out on behalf of Israel, and then Tilly Norwood stars in a movie where it's critical of Israel. They just write a ChatGPT prompt to have her give her reasoning for why she changed her position and she wants to support somebody else. And then it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
It's just it's gonna get weird, guys. It's gonna get weird, and the actors aren't doing themselves any favors as they continue to make it harder for people to support them. We were just looking today at the story of different celebrities who are mad at different political figures, and it's just gonna keep happening.
That's a great point. The idea of, well, if we create the character and we create the actor as well, we don't have to worry about if the actor has some kind of scandal, whether it be, dead prostitutes and blow from like it was in the 80s, or whether it be, someone that has the wrong opinion on the femogenocide in the Congo.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.